Okay, good morning everybody. We took a very nice rest and now it's 8:30. I must say thanks to Professor Smith that he gives me a chance to follow this convention about Euclid. So about the life of this very extraordinary mathematics, Greek mathematics, we don't know very much. The death of Alessandro Magno brought a very moment of confusion until Ptolemy I, the king, took everything in his hand and he followed the ambitious dream of Alessandro the Great. For the first declaration that the Ptolemy I institute he made was in Museo. That was a big school where all the big scientists went to study, and these things in that time was not occasion to say that everybody was happy because it was really something extraordinary. The most famous in this period was Euclid. Okay, this school is going to develop the most wonderful thinking about mathematics. There, beside Euclid, there were also Archimedes, like we talked last time, and Apollonius. We don't have a lot of notice about biography about Euclid. We know that he's Greek and he's born in Alexandria d'Egypt. He's made his study in Athens around 300 before Christus, and he spent his life in Alexandria, where he was a teacher of King Ptolemy. He was teaching in a library, in his library. The most important work of Euclid is the Elements, is opera, great big opera of 13 books. Okay, the most works that the Element they are going to be the best and the greatest work of the ancient time. But we know that until now it's still remunerated like the most important, more than Leonardo da Vinci for what is the meaning of mathematics. Okay, we are talking about mathematics in a specific. And but we have the second work that is quite minor, the minor point of view, it's Ottica. Okay, now we are talking about le opere di Euclide and we are talking about his popularity. Because of this work, he was very renowned in all the school of in Greeks. He was making this work during the period of Proclo di Bisanzio, in which he was a little bit stealing also the theorem of Eudosso in 408 before Christus. And Eudosso was a little bit angry about this because he asked Euclid asked to Eudosso, say, do you like my work? Yeah, let me see. So he spent 2 years. After 2 years, Eudosso come back and say, hey, I look to your work and it seems very much like mine. I say, are you crazy? This is my work. Well, never mind. Give me 10,000 euro and everything okay. Euclid took the money from the pocket, paid, and everything was okay. So Eudos Euclid, they went, from that time they became friends. For the second point is the principal opera of Euclid is, as we say, and this is the third time, the Elements in 13 books. The first 6 books, they are talking about geometria piana, okay? The 4 other books are talking about arithmetics, and the last 3 about solid geometry. This thinking, this way to write, this great mathematics book was the great mathematical opera in the ancient time and has been very diffuse in all the world, in all the civil world. In fact, Concetta, yesterday when she was preparing ragu, she said, Professor, what I have to make? He said, put some elements of Euclid. I think it's going good. Say, yeah, I like the recipe. I will use also in the flight. I say, no problem, do it because you have to do it. Okay, so we back to Euclid, and because of this, he was very famous in all the Greek's area, and not only. There are still four other works, and the first is I Dati, the second work is La Divisione delle Figure, and the third is the Phenomenon, and the fourth is the Ottica. And because of the Ottica, I remember myself that I have to call the doctor because my lens, I don't see nothing. I see all shadows here, and maybe I got to visit because when 2 3 years ago I was 10 on the left and 10 on the right, but I think now I have 5 on the left and 5 on the right. So I have to control this because I don't see, as I see here on the book, I don't see very good. But because of this great geniality of this man, was the meaning to divide it, this work in a certain condition, and in thinking about that this area was in the same part to have the relation between them. Okay. One other work of Euclid, one also important, is what is renowned porismi. It's unluckily is lost. Nobody find it, but it seems that Pappo, the great mathematics of fourth cycle, eat it. In fact, they called the Pappone. So means so you have a Pappo before to get porismi. After that he took the porismi, they called him Pappo. So you see the difference. Before eating, you are Pappo. After eating, you are Pappo. In fact, when you have to give something to eat, you call Pappone. For example, when I had a dog, I say, Topi, vuoi mangiare? Sì. Topi dice, sì, ramo Pappo. E Topi si è mangiato Pappo. This work was the idea in that time that Euclid was close to the geometry, analytic geometry. Pappo or Pappone, as you want to call it, we say that porisma is a way between through a theorem in which you are going to give a demonstration of something and a problem in which the construction of something. If a porism was like a kind of a verbal equazione of a curva, the book of Euclid Superismi was different because from this geometry, analytic geometry, in most of them, they miss the symbol and the use of algebraic technique. Okay, it's a little complicated concept, but if you can, when you go home, just you can go a little bit deep on these arguments because it's very important. So I think keep always in mind the elements that is the work, the most important work of Euclid. Other works that Euclid lost, in fact, one morning he wake up and he say to the wife, Gucce, have you seen my paradox? I say, yes, you make paradox Ramatina said, what do you want now? Have you make a shower? No, before make a shower, I want to find paradox. No, said the wife, you lost it. You lost in your young time. In fact, these works, they were used to training the young generation. And the second book that also Euclid lost, and Cuchet was very angry and give him a buffer. He said, because of this, you was a very good event, because this was talking about I solidi di rivoluzione. So Cuchet was a little bit angry because say against Euclid, Mo, you want to go to the revolution, you are out of mind. Va fatica, go get work because Stasi, we have to eat. Say Euclid, no, but I want to make solid revolution. Say, okay, you make solid revolution from 8 o'clock to 1 o'clock, ma Arop, vai a scuola e va fatica. Ok, ma Euclid said, ma after can I back home? Sì, ma only if you write I solid revolution. Okay. And then they find a compromise. You see, the life is always a kind of compromise between wife and husband. And you can imagine what I'm talking about. So Just I close now because I take a break because of my recording, and I see you in a couple of minutes.